Hey there, welcome to another edition of Locked On Astros. It's a morning edition. It's a little chaotic over here in spring training land, but you know what? So was Rafael Montero's start. We're going to talk about, is this deja vu, and who's a better hitter, Ohtani or Alvarez? Hit that intro music, Eric.
Buenos días, this is Locked On Astros.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros, and we hope that you join us for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. You can find me on X at Eric Talkstros. You can find the show at Locked On Astros, your team every day. And thank you for making us your daily listen, whether it's in the morning, evening, drive home, drive to work, wherever you listen to us. Thank you for becoming an everydayer, and go ahead and subscribe to us on YouTube and listen to us on Odyssey, Apple, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts. Go ahead and check us out. And Brett, yesterday was a very chaotic day between Garrett Cole, whatever's going on with his situation, and the whole Dylan Cease rumors. He was never coming here. That was not the issue. But there's a lot of teams that probably have a little bit of a condition after not getting Dylan Cease yesterday. But when you're not looking for who's going to trade for Dylan Cease, where can they find you at? Unmute yourself.
They can find me at H-Town Wheelhouse on X, Instagram, and TikTok. They can find me at Stros411 on X, Instagram, and Facebook. Always positive, always Stros. And yeah, a lot of things went down yesterday in the news cycle. Dylan Cease became a Padre. Makes you wonder, what are they doing in Chicago? Are they building around Luis Robert, or is he the next chip to fall? They can also trade him soon. Jake Meyers, home run. Rafael Montero's less than stellar outing, but Javier looked good yesterday. We're going to talk about that. And is it time for Joey Loperfido to step up to the plate? And does he make this roster? If not, is he an early season call-up? There's a lot of things to talk about.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are saying that he's actually leapfrogged certain Melton right now. So Melton has not really looked good this spring, but Loperfido has. So that's something we can talk about. Greg Kessinger, somebody that's actually favored to make the roster because he plays multiple positions. He can play first base, he could play second base, he could play some third base, he could play a little bit of outfield, but he's actually not having good spring training, batting 172 with OPS of 344. Carlos Gomez would be laughing at that. I know it's just spring training, but that is baseball. You never know what's going to happen to you. And a lot of teams were looking at the Yankees yesterday after Garrett Cole. I think John Heyman was one that came out and said that Garrett Cole would be out 1 to 2 months. There is nothing like torn or anything that they can tell of in his elbow, but they're hoping that rest is going to be the answer, maybe some chicken noodle soup or something, but they hope that he'll come back in 1 to 2 months. But if not, they are looking for some answers. They thought that they went ahead and revisited a trade with the White Sox for Dylan Cease. But because they did that, all the other teams that are interested, including the Rangers, including the Giants, including the Padres, they decided, hey, let's go and do this. And I've heard from a lot of Astros fans that said, well, if that's all it took to get Dylan Cease, why didn't Astros do it? Because you can't compare the two farm systems. The Padres farm system is much better than the Astros. And I actually have the what the Padres gave up. They gave up their Drew Thorpe, who is their fourth in their system, 64th overall. Then they gave up Jairo Iriarte. He's seventh in their system, 109th overall. Then they gave up Samuel Zavala. He's 12th in their system, not ranked. And then they gave up a actual reliever who's actually up, who made his debut, I believe, last year, but Steven Wilson. So that's a major league arm that's ready to help them right now. He's got a strong sweeper. So the Astros did not have the same type of package Neither did the Rangers, neither did the Giants, neither did the Yankees. So if they did, they would have went for the best package. And Brett, let me tell you, for Dylan Cease, would you have given up Jacob Melton, Spencer Arrighetti, and maybe even Joey Loperfido?
Absolutely not. No. I mean, we've got pitchers. We just got some guys that are slow on the uptick. We've got a couple guys coming back. I'm not making a trade midseason. I'm not making a trade till midseason, like the doctor himself, Dana Brown, said he was going to wait till midseason. I don't think Cease is worth that. Now, had you not done the trade with Gilbert and you had not given up 2 prospects for further than maybe, but no. I mean, Loperfido's close, and I think he's got a lot of promise. He's got a lot of pop in that bat. He can move around the field. He can move around the outfield. And so good job, Dylan Cease. Good luck in San Diego. I have no idea what San Diego's doing. They're them and the White Sox, the moves they've made are just head scratching.
Well, I can answer that, Brett. They are trying to compete for second place in the NL West. The NL West is going to be tough. You got the Dodgers. I believe the Diamondbacks, they just went to the World Series, right? So they're a pretty good team. So they're trying to compete in that division. And they already had a pretty good rotation as is. And so now you add somebody like Dylan Cease, that's going to make them a little bit better. So I think that's what they're doing. Yes, they're trading some of their future away. They're trading away some of the talent they got from the Yankees and the Juan Soto trade, but they're trying to win now.
Yeah, and I mean, I get that, but that division is almost lost if you're not the Dodgers or the Diamondbacks. I mean, the Giants are legitimate contenders. The AL West and the NL West. I'm sorry, the AL West and I'm sorry, the NL West and the NL East are very, very strong. Like on both coasts in the National League, you have a really strong formidable opponent. The Central is the most suspect, and the Central is the most suspect. I guess the Central is the weakest in both leagues, and so I guess
especially with Devin Williams, he's gonna be out for 3 months with the Brewers, their closer.
I saw that.
So that's big news. Also, Taj Brantley with the Rays, he's going to be out for 1 to 2 weeks, and he's probably going to miss opening days with the Rays. So this is the time of year where you see without the whole World Baseball Classic, there are still injuries. And so there are injuries during spring training. So it's not just the World Baseball Classic. That just so happened how some of the injuries happened last year.
Right. No, yeah, and that's where I've been saying all along that the Houston Astros are in a good position because of health. But hey, I want to move on to Jake Meyers. Jake Meyers is a guy that I've tabbed as going to have a breakout year offensively. Eric, he's hitting 350 right now, and I know it's spring training, but his OPS is 1.150, and he hit a home run yesterday off of Severino, going 2 for 3. Jake Meyers continues to look really good at the plate and looks like he's doing exactly what the Astros want him to do. They want him to take over center field. If they tab you as a center fielder, they want you to be successful. And so far, so good.
Well, I think what they're doing, they looked at some batting from when he first came up in 2021, and they realized what he's been doing. They asked him to lower his hands a little bit closer to where he was back in 2021. And what Meyers said, it just kind of started the hands in a spot where and that I would get to later on. And then I think it just kind of helped me maybe get on time and sync things up often. I've always been somebody who's kind of used to hold field, and that's something that I take pride in what I'm doing. And so Espada said that his swing is different than it was last year. Success always brings confidence. And like I told him in the winter, he's got to play. I think when he's healthy, he's a very good player, and he's a very valuable player to our team. So far in camp, He's showing it, and he feels confident. And I think just going out there, what Joe Espada and Dana Brown did, they said, "You are my center fielder." And just giving him that confidence, that means everything in today's generation.
Yeah, that's right. And after we talk about a couple of our sponsors, we'll get into the Alvarez versus Ohtani.
Right.
Hey, everybody, this episode is brought to you by Amazon TV. Go to Amazon.com/LockedOnFireTV. Let me tell you, if you have a smart TV or a Fire Stick, you can get Amazon Fire TV. And it's not just baseball. It's the college basketball tournament coming up, March Madness, opening day. So many reasons to get Fire TV. They have Fire TV channels that deliver constant supply of the latest videos of your favorite sports brands, various conferences, not to mention entertainment, gaming, travel, cooking videos as well. So I want you to check out Fire TV channels on Fire TV and on your Alexa devices. I mean, you can find Locked On shows like ours on Fire TV because the Fire TV channels are simply that. They are fire. If you haven't checked it out, go today. Trust me on this. Learn more. Just go to Amazon.com/LockedOnFireTV and set your TV on fire. Well, not literally, but get Fire TV. Also, remember that this episode is brought to you by FanDuel. FanDuel is the #1 sports betting partner sportsbook of the NBA. And let me tell you, you can say goodbye to busted brackets because FanDuel lets you bet on every game of the tourney. Whether you're betting on a big upset or a 1 seed, it's time to go dancing on America's #1 sportsbook. The U of H Cougars are the consensus #1, and will they finally get the prize that they've been chasing? Well, right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets if your $5 bet wins. That's right, $200 to use on point spreads, money lines. You can even pick who's going to win it all. So what I need you to do is visit FanDuel.com/LockedOn and bet on college hoops until they cut down all the nets and until the Cougars are #1. Go to FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook.
Hey guys, I know opening day is March 20th. Well, not for the Astros, but for the Dodgers and the Padres. They're actually flying to Korea right now. But it's also when you can see all the division rivalry matchups on Locked On Sports today. So go and check it out, and it's going to be on Amazon Fire TV. So it's all going to be awesome. I know that I was on that, and there's a lot of different tensions, especially with me and the Rangers podcast guy. So Bryce over there. And also there's some actually Locked On Mariners guy, Ty over there. He's actually in a much better mood this year compared to how he feels about the Astros. So go ahead and tune into these, and it's going to be on March 20th. But I know a lot of people are having their issues with the ESPN top 100 list, and we talked about it yesterday. I think it was Matt Olson and also Carlos Correa that came up and voiced their opinions about Mike Trout, saying Mike Trout should be a little bit higher than 19th on this list. But we talked about Mike Trout needs to stay healthy, and he's also maybe not the same player, but this is the year that maybe he can stay healthy and maybe try to play a full season. But I know one of the things that surprised both of us was the fact that Shohei Ohtani was behind Yordan Alvarez on this list. And I know we skipped Montero. We'll go and talk about him in a second. But Ohtani, we think of him as winning MVP and everything, but we know that Alvarez is the better player. We think he is as a hitter. So go and put up the stats, Brett.
Yeah, so this is what I did, a comparison on StatHead from basically 2019. We left off Ohtani's 2018 season. And of course, you can clearly see that Ohtani edges him in WAR, games, plate appearances, hits, and home runs, but only by 20. But Yordan, as you go down the list, leads in RBI. We're not going to worry about stolen bases. That's a kind of a pointless stat at this point. His batting average, 295, is 20 points higher than Ohtani. His on-base percentage is almost 30 points higher. Yordan Alvarez, 588 slugging, is about 33 points higher. The OPS for Yordan is 50 plus points higher, and then OPS plus is almost 20 points higher. So you have a 165 OPS plus and 978 OPS plus. He does have a title, and I think that matters. He has 2
LCS MVP too. Yeah.
And his LCS MVP. He has 1 silver slugger where Ohtani has 2. And I think with Ohtani in another league, Eric, I think you're going to see Alvarez get a lot more all-star nods because there won't be this confusion of, is Ohtani a player, a DH, or a pitcher? How's he going to make the all-star game? We'll let the National League figure that out. We'll let him rob a spot from somebody else. But Yordan Alvarez, as far as plate appearance, as far as silver slugging awards, as far as all-stars, should be, I think, an all-star probably for the remainder of his career, unless he hits some decline at some point. But I like Yordan Alvarez over Ohtani at the plate. And people may think I'm crazy, and people want to pick Ohtani because he's kind of the sexy pick. He's the guy that, he's the two-way player. But you cannot match the prowess that Yordan Alvarez is at the plate, because when we faced Ohtani, he's not had a ton of success against the Astros.
Sometimes he has, but yeah, I know what you're talking about. But unfortunately, we're not going to have the same comparison this year because he's not in the American League. He's not going to be playing. Alvarez is going to be playing more left field this year. Maybe not exclusively, but he's listed as a left fielder this year, not a DH. So I think we're not going to have the same apples to oranges comparison. But because this has been something that we've been looking at for the past several years, Ohtani always got the MVP and other because of the fact that he was a pitcher. And this year will be the opportunity for somebody else to get it. Will Mookie Betts, because he's moving over shortstop, will he get it? Will Acuna Jr. get it over there? So there's just a lot of different things that goes in consideration now that Ohtani's over in the National League. Will he be overshadowed in that Dodgers lineup? I don't think so. I still think he's the second best hitter. I think Betts is probably the best hitter in that lineup for sure. But I think that we'll see what happens with a different team. But he's crushing home runs this year. And
Betts is a better hitter than Ohtani?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so by far. If you look at fantasy rankings, everything, he's in the top 4 or 5, I would say. And that's before him moving to shortstop. So him getting that extra position eligibility is just big, especially in the fantasy world. So,
hey, just let everybody know, if I duck out here in a couple minutes, I've got a live spot on ESPN Southwest Louisiana, talking to the guys about Houston Astros stuff. So if you see me duck out of the show, I'll try to make it back in before Eric wraps things up. But we thank y'all for tuning in here in the morning. And next week, we've got a pretty big announcement. We're going to be partnering with a charity called Courage to Be that does stuff for kids in the Dominican, does stuff for kids in underserved communities. And we'll let you know all about that campaign and how you guys can help us raise money for that facility. It's going to be a really cool thing. So I just want to let y'all know, if I vacated, I didn't just drop the show. I'll be back. Maybe this
He's
show.
Like that little GIF where you see the guy just say peace out, then he just disappears.
Right.
Like that.
Exactly.
So speaking of somebody that a lot of Astros fans wish disappeared last year was Rafael Montero and his money. That was one of the I know a lot of people were throwing a lot of money last year, Brett, but he finished with the okay season, actually 79 strikeouts and 67.1 innings pitched, but his ERA was 5.08. So it was a little bit higher than you would have liked, but overall it wasn't bad finish to season, but he has not looked good. Granted, it's only been 3 games, 2 innings. His ERA is 8. His WHIP is 3. He has 1 strikeout so far this spring training. I think he had 1 good appearance, but in yesterday's game, he had 3 walks. He allowed 4 runs. I know it's spring training. I'm not going to panic, but this guy has got to be. The Astros lost too many bullpen pieces. Are you worried about Rafael Montero before you leave?
I don't know. I don't know if I'm worried about him. Can I wait and see? Can I see what his results are?
It's one of those ifs.
It's an even number year, even number years. I mean, in 22, he did great. So let's hope that this is one of those years and hope that spring training doesn't lead too much of what is going to happen in the regular season. So, yeah, I mean, look, Montero's in there. You're paying him, so he's going to play. And so that's just an inevitability. But I guess we'll just have to see what Montero shows up. A friend of mine texted me last night, and he said that Montero just had a home run hit off of him, and he said it was one of the hardest hit balls that I've seen ever in person, and this is a season ticket holder. So that doesn't sound too promising for Rafael Montero, thus the title Deja Vu.
Well, he didn't allow a home run yesterday, but it's probably a hit because he did allow 2 hits.
Okay.
3 walks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe it was a hit, maybe not a home run. Maybe I'm misquoting him, but yeah, he just said Montero, or maybe Montero was throwing BP, was throwing a live to one of the Astros or something. So
Yeah. Maybe something like that. So, but there's also some other guys that have been not looking good this spring. Dylan Coleman allowed another run. So I know there's been a lot of people kind of wondering if he's going to make the roster, stuff like that. So, sorry, I didn't know my mic missing. Then he had the top outside of, you don't know who's going to be there. So I think that the issue is going to be who's going to be in the bullpen. And that's why you've heard all the issues about maybe Dana Brown's going to go out there and trade for another reliever, something like that. So let's go ahead and move on to Javier. Christian Javier yesterday, 4 innings, 2 hits, 4 strikeouts, no walks. His ERA is 1.80 on spring training. Probably he only threw 63 pitches, 40 of them are strikes. This is the Christian Javier that we are used to. And so I think that what we are looking at is the rebirth of Christian Javier. I think last year, I'm not saying it's the extension. I'm not saying that all led to what happened last year, but there's some issues last year, whether it's his release point got out of control or his mechanics, or maybe came in spring training a little bit overweight. Something happened last year where he lost what makes Christian Javier good. So I think what they're looking for is what he's doing now. And I would say, I know this is not going to happen, but there could be a case to be made that you start Christian Javier on opening day over Framber Valdez, because his stuff so far this spring has been much better than Framber Valdez. Actually, the second start from Framber Valdez was much better. So I think that by what he's done in the past, Framber Valdez is definitely going to get that opening day start. But looking at what Javier has done this spring, he's been electric, and he just looks like he's the same guy that they offered that extension to. 13 strikeouts and 10 innings pitched. He has a 2-0 record, 0.80 whip. So he just looks like he's ready for the season. Jose Urquidy has looked good. You've seen Hunter Brown kind of settle in and out. So I think what you're seeing overall is you're seeing this rotation round into form. Yes, you may not have the Dylan Cease that some of y'all would like to go out and get, or the Blake Snell that y'all would like to go get, but you can't always get what you want. And sometimes you just have to enjoy what you have. And for right now, the Astros are enjoying what they have. So we can definitely talk about that in a second. But I do want to kind of talk about Joey Loperfido, what he's doing this spring, and we'll go ahead and wrap up the show in a second. All right, guys, let's talk about prize picks. I know football season's over. Baseball's about to get started. I know as soon as baseball gets started, that's when football season is ready to get going. But let's go ahead and talk about prize picks. The action is on the floor is heating up, whether it's the tournament, March Madness is here, or the fight for the playoffs, home court. There's no shortage of high stakes basketball moments this time of year. Get into excitement with Prize Picks. It's America's #1 fantasy sports app. Whether you can turn your hoops knowledge into serious cash, you can win up to 100 times your money with Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. You can turn $10 into $1,000 with NBA, NHL, or college basketball entries today on Prize Picks. It's America's #1 fantasy app. Want to play along some of Prize Picks' favorite players like Meek Mill or Sugashan O'Malley, or you can find community plays under the promo tabs of the app to view entries from some of the biggest names in the Prize Pick communities each week. So go ahead and download the app today and use the code LOCKEDONMLB for the first deposit match up to $100. Download the app today and use the code LOCKEDONMLB for the first deposit match up to $100. And don't forget to go and check out on March 20th. That's when you're going to see all the local experts talk about the previewing their teams. And we had an interesting AL West matchup discussion, and we talked about everything that's happening with what are the A's going to do, and including their move to Vegas. What's happening with that? And will the A's finish in last? And I was surprised at what the actual other podcasters said about their teams. Where did they think the Astros were going to finish this year? So go and catch that discussion on March 20th. So let's go and get back to the discussion. Joey Loperfido. I know that getting on the 26-man roster is going to be tough. Right now, I think that Trey Cabbage is probably on the outside looking in. With a good spring training, he possibly could have made the lineup, but he's not quite there. If you're looking at the outfield as is, it's probably going to be Chas McCormick, Jake Meyers, Kyle Tucker, Yordan Alvarez. If you're looking at the bench, it's probably going to be Mauricio Dubon, John Singleton, Greg Kessinger, and Victor Caratini. So I believe right now, if you're looking at it, it's going to be between Greg Kessinger and possibly Joey Loperfido. It depends on what the Astros want. Do they want somebody that can play the infield, kind of be a super utility guy? I know that's what Mauricio Dubon could do. Or they want somebody else that could play the outfield. That's what Loperfido mostly can do. So that Loperfido has had a great spring. He's has a OPS of what? It's 1,077. His batting average is 381. He doesn't have a home run, but he did have 2 hits yesterday, scored a run. Jake Meyers, like Brett said, is batting 350 with a 1150 OPS. And Corey Julks is having a pretty good spring training. He's batting 308 with a 910 OPS. So I know Yainer Diaz, I'm not worrying about him. He's batting 138 with a 443 OPS. If he was trying to make the team, yes, I would be a little bit more worried about that. So Popping Dolphin says, well, what about leaving Singleton off versus Loperfido? I think that you have to really trust Kessinger over at first base if you're going to do that. And I know that he's played some first base, but I think that they really want to rest Abreu a lot this year. We saw last year that Abreu kind of ran out of steam at times. So I really think that they want John Singleton. They believe in his left-handed power. They saw it at times. And I think they may also want to not start Loperfido's clock so soon, because he is part of the Astros future. So I think that they may wait till see what John Singleton does, what Greg Kessinger can do, and then kind of go from there. So I don't think they're going to rush it is what I'm trying to say. So you've seen throughout baseball, you've seen some of the players like across baseball have good spring trainings, but teams, especially with how many billions of dollars are at stake. You saw them do that with George Springer and other players. You don't want to bring them up too soon, because that means you're going to lose that extra year of control. So that's why you think that. What do I think of Singleton? I think Singleton is somebody that is what Singleton's here to do. He's a bench option. He's somebody that has shown the ability to draw a walk. He can occasionally hit a home run. Is he the answer for the Astros? I do not think so. But at the same time, he's not a waste of bench spot right now. I think we need to see what he's like. He's having good spring training. He's hitting the ball pretty well. He was having a good spring training. He's back down to 217 right now with a 501 OPS, but he was hitting the ball pretty well. But he's somebody that I think the Astros can just see what they have, and if it doesn't work, they can move on. But I think the power, left-handed power, is what the Astros like about him. The ability to play first base. He's a good first baseman. He could play a pretty good defense out there. So I think that's what they're going to do. So is he going to be the long-term answer? I don't think so. And a quick little injury update. JP France is going to make his first start on Saturday, and he's tentatively scheduled to throw 3 innings or 50 pitches. And they are still confident that he'll be ready for opening day. So 2 thumbs up or fingers crossed. And Justin Verlander is scheduled to throw a bullpen Thursday. And if that goes well, he should face hitters in his next throwing session. So Verlander is still behind, but he's making some progress. So Montero is here for a little bit, guys. I know y'all want to ditch him already, but it was 1 spring training appearance. I'm not too worried about it, but it is kind of worried that this guy that you paid a lot of money for last year gives up a lot of walks. So that's all we got for this edition of Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. He is Brett Chancey, and we will see you tomorrow, and go Astros.